Hey Josh, are you thirsty?
Why, yes indeed, Nicole. I am quite parched.
That's great. Well, I have a bowl of piping hot butternut squash soup waiting for you.
Nicole, I hate you and you're ruining my life.
This is a hot dog is a sandwich. Ketchup is a smoothie.
Yeah, I put ice in my cereal, so what?
That makes no sense.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
What? Welcome to our podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, the show where we break down the world's biggest food debates. I'm your host, Josh Scher.
And I'm your host, Nicole Acaí.
And if you noticed that intro, we were doing a little bit of stage acting there, right? A little bit of stage. We are thespians.
I have been a thespian since high school.
I have a lot in common with thespians. We both love...
Did you go to that cool ritual that they do?
What?
The thespian ritual.
What thespian ritual?
You don't do... So you're not a thespian.
I wasn't invited to the thespian ritual? I'm not cool enough for the thespians?
Well, if you're a thespian, write in the comments if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, I love women's softball. Today, we are talking about, do you eat or drink soup?
This is the dumbest podcast we've ever done.
No, the dumbest one was about the aliens for sure. I went on a whole extended rant about how men struggle to make friends, which is true. The loneliness epidemic is real. I'd recommend joining a hobby group, you know? But anyways.
Yeah, I talked about the Dukes of Hazzard's car.
Yeah.
And the dogs in it.
Definitely. But this is probably top 5 stupidest podcasts we've ever done, but I
Damn.
also think it's important. This is one of those, Nicole, where we're going to dive deep into the ontological implications, the etymological expressions, the tautological indubitations. Because,
wow, lots of big words.
Because, listen, to drink,
yes,
right?
To drink.
To drink, the verb, drinken from the old German.
So it's taking...
To consume a liquid.
Yeah, it's taking a liquid and just doing one of these. Hold on.
Yes. To eat. From the German drinken. This is actually... Wait, no. What did I say? Did I say
Drinken is German?
No, actually, both of them are German words. I was hoping to find some sort of clue in the etymology of both words, but they are just both Old German transposed into Dutch, transposed into English, and it's literally just like eaten and drinking, and one means eat and the other means drink, and there's nothing deeper. But if you look into the words, what really separates them? Because I've famously said, beverages do not exist. Everything is just nutrition. I drank a protein shake this morning, right?
But you didn't eat it.
I didn't eat it, no, because I slurped it down. I was actually on a Zoom call, and I was just going, yeah, the thing about that scheduling wise is... So I definitely drank that, right?
Okay.
One could say that.
Yeah.
However, inside that were a full cup of blueberries. There was 50 grams of protein in the form of whey protein particle.
Yeah.
There were oats.
Okay.
Right? There was peanut butter. There was yogurt. There was a lot of stuff in that you do eat.
Yeah, but not in the context that you were enjoying it.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm ready.
Acai bowls. This is actually something that really messes me up.
Oh, acai bowls. I hate acai bowls.
I hate acai bowls too. Why do you hate them?
Because it's sherbet. It's ice cream.
Well, it's just a smoothie in a bowl.
It's a lie.
So much so. I
think it's more frozen yogurt or sherbet. I don't think it's a smoothie bowl. It's too thick.
They literally call them smoothie bowls in some of these restaurants.
That's okay. They're wrong.
Okay, but like, say there's not acai in it. I think it's really weird that we have devoted one acai culture in Brazil is like very legit.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's actually very regional. And then if you go like outside in the cities, it's a native Amazonian fruit. But I think it's like very regional because it spoils really quickly. So when you have to like export acai, which a lot of Brazil's a huge country,
sure,
you have to freeze it.
Yeah.
And so like you go to a big city like Rio de Janeiro or something, and you have to, you're eating it in the same ice cream ass form.
It's the only way, yeah.
But it's weird that we have like standalone restaurants that are solely devoted to fruit that they've effectively just turned into a smoothie.
But they don't. But normally acai bowl places don't just sell acai anymore.
No, I know but it's weird. They're called acai. It's called like acai jungle, Amazon acai. There's something called uba tuba.
It's a good. Oh my god, I'm an uba tuba stan.
And they sell avocado toast and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, it's to entice the crowd that they want.
But my point is, I'm not doubting their business model.
Okay.
One, they're all going to go belly up in like 3 years.
You said that 3 years ago.
They're still,
I really
they're
did.
Still kicking. They're still kicking. Why? Just have a smoothie. There's nothing that special about acai. Superfoods are a myth. They simply don't exist.
What does this have to do with eating and drinking?
Because acai bowl should be drinking, not eaten.
It depends.
It is all this. What? It depends on what? No. Let me know.
The viscosity, the level at which it is served, the frozen level, if it's...
Viscosity changes with any frozen food, though.
I get that.
based on temperature. You're telling me I put an acai bowl in my car, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, ooh, I want to enjoy this acai bowl in the comfort of my own home.
Okay.
While watching, what's that show that I started watching? Not Breaking Bad. The other, Better Call Saul.
You started watching Better Call Saul?
I just can't get into it. I don't know. Like Bob Odenkirk's great. I just like give me a reason. Give me a reason to care. But anyways, I'm trying to watch Better Call Saul.
Okay.
I want to have a nice acai bowl. It melts a little bit in the Burbank heat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Suddenly, this is a more appropriate food to be drank
Yeah,
than it
but
is.
sure, that's fine. But that's up to you. You decided. You had free will.
How?
And
Wait, how did I decide?
by leaving it in your car.
Okay, but when
What
it
are
comes to
you
the actual
talking
act,
about?
what we're trying to get down to.
What do you want from me?
What am I ever talking about? When I'm talking about the actual act of eating versus drinking, what separates it?
Peristalsis.
What do you mean peristalsis?
Mastication and peristalsis.
The non-voluntary epiglottal pulsing
Yeah.
and movement to move anything? No, anything
no,
can be peristalsis.
let me tell you, mastication and peristalsis.
Don't masticate too much. You'll go blind, honey.
It's, you got to chew it a little bit. You got to break it down so it can go down in your esophagus and go through all the intestines.
You are saying anything you have to chew, you are then eating and not drinking.
Correct.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
Ready.
I saw a video of this lady, right? And now this
Was
is
it
a real
sexual?
big no for
Okay.
some. Now this was a real big hot dog.
Oh, I
And now
saw.
she put the hot dog all the way down.
What's her name?
And she didn't chew. Was it? It wasn't Raina. Is
Raina
crazy.
is
Was it
crazy.
Raina?
Yeah.
Raina's
is
a professional
crazy.
eater.
Yeah, talented.
But I would argue that she drank this hot dog in question based on your definition of having to chew.
Did she? No, because at her videos, you never actually see her finish it. She just puts it in her mouth and smiles. So
Okay,
you're
I
lying.
still though believe there's a world in which
She
people
swallows it
can
whole.
swallow a hot dog whole.
Okay,
and just let
but
it go down.
I'm saying the act of eating is the act of it going all the way down. And the stomach acid and the juices.
But now we're
are
getting into
incorporated.
the idea of deep faking a video. I don't believe she faked that. I think she digested that hot dog.
No, no, you're
Wait.
being silly.
Can you know this is an important hinge of my
You're
argument.
being
This is an
silly.
important hinge of my Meggie, could one feasibly shove a hot dog? Meggie, talk about the hot dogs and the throats. Okay, well, I'll talk to you. Somebody could feasibly, I believe medically this is possible, to take a whole 10-inch Hebrew national wiener, cut of course, and shove it down the throat to the point. I'll do a little.
Okay.
5.25, and you shove it down, and you don't chew it at all, and you do fully digest it. You would then say that they have drank that hot dog as opposed to have eaten
I
it
think they have
because they didn't
swallowed
chew.
it. I think they have swallowed it because there was no mastication and there was no esophageal.
So they did not eat that hot dog because
No.
they didn't chew it.
No, they swallowed it. There's a difference between eating, drinking, and swallowing.
It's interesting. A third player's entered the chat. Okay, let me ask you a question, Nicole.
You sounded like you're about to say, "My lady." That was really funny.
Let me ask you another
What?
question.
What's
then.
up?
Boba.
Love it.
But I love it
You
too.
chew the boba. You eat the boba. You drink the drink.
So you have like say a milk tea, a nice jasmine milk
Love
tea. I'm a
milk tea.
taro fan.
I'm a taro
Just
milk
like
tea
where
girl,
else am I
yeah.
gonna get taro flavored stuff? I gotta go all the
Nowhere.
way to Yogurtland, and sometimes Yogurtland doesn't have
Oh
taro.
my gosh, I haven't been
Ugh.
to Yogurtland since I took you to the doctor.
The other day, I was just taking a walk around the neighborhood because I'm trying to do that more. You know?
Oh yeah, lower your cortisol level.
Yeah, but then I was walking by a Yogurtland and I was like, be a nice little afternoon pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost walked in, but I didn't because it was just all children with their families.
Aw.
And as like an adult man, I couldn't, and I was like sweaty. It was walking, it was hot,
Okay,
we're in the valley.
Sure.
And as like a sweaty adult man, I just couldn't handle being near these children being like, I want ice cream just because I can't handle my cravings and emotions.
Interesting.
And so I didn't do it.
Okay.
But you're saying that you drink the milk tea, but eat the boba.
Correct. Because you can do both things. Yeah.
Soup.
Yeah.
Now we mentioned soup.
Okay, now do we eat or drink soup? Depends on the soup we're consuming.
I don't think, though, if you argue that soup is one meaningful category, which I do not, I categorically
don't
deny
think
soup.
so.
I
I don't
categorically
think
deny
so.
soup. If you're arguing that these, right, are all a category.
Tell
right
them
now,
what these are, Josh.
I don't
Not
know.
everybody's
You made
watching
them,
the
dude.
video. Okay, so in front of us, we have 3 bowls of soup. We have a butternut squash pureed soup. We have a 3-bean chili soup. And we have a chicken noodle soup. 3 soups. We got the chunkies, we got the smoothies, and then we got the broth based. Josh is housing a whole quart of butternut squash soup. So that went down easy.
What separates this butternut squash soup from my smoothie this morning?
Can I tell you something? Absolutely nothing. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing there's anything different about it.
So you are arguing that I just drank that soup. And you are arguing that I drank
also
my smoothie. Wait, but you drank it with a spoon. Is that meaningful?
What?
Is that meaningful? I'm asking.
No.
So then are you eating or drinking acai bowl? Say you get a plain acai bowl.
delicious.
Say you get a plain acai bowl. Right?
Yummy
Are you eating or drinking that acai bowl? You don't get the coconut. You don't get the almonds. You don't get the bananas.
Is it spoonable like yogurt?
It is.
You're eating it.
Why? What is different?
Because I'm not holding,
What is different?
Because I'm not holding it in my mouth and letting it dissipate. I'm actively masticating.
Nicole, people of America and beyond, Nicole wants to come into your homes with a timer and time you for how long you're holding your yogurt in your mouth to see if you've eaten or drinking it.
Do you?
No, you don't chew yogurt.
You swallow your yogurt like how?
What do you? No, make the motion on how you chew yogurt right now. Think about eating yogurt and make your mouth motion. Your teeth are not making contact.
They are making contact.
What are your teeth doing? What are your teeth doing to the yogurt?
Masticating.
What do you mean masticating? There's nothing in yogurt to masticate. You put chunks in your yogurt. You're eating like a nice raita or something.
I had yogurt. Let me tell you what I did last night. I had some skyr.
Skyr?
Yogurt.
Skyr?
I had some skyr yogurt.
Oh, some Icelandic skyr.
I put some honey and some chia seeds on it. I don't need to chew any of those things.
Nicole Anayati daughter from Reykjavik. Eating her skyr.
It was so delicious. And I just, just as like a little like snack. And then I chewed it because it needed to be chewed. You cannot suck yogurt out of a straw, not skyr.
You just said that you drank this soup with a spoon.
Bulgarian yogurt, because it's thin enough. You know the probiotic one, the mountain one?
I love Bulgarian mountain yogurt.
The Bulgarian mountain yogurt with the probiotics, you can with a spoon, with a straw, because it has the texture, consistency, and viscosity to be sucked up by the power of your mouth.
So it's not about chewing. You lied. Nicole said earlier that it was about chewing. No, you're going to drink that chili.
I'm going to eat this 3-bean chili because you cannot drink chili. Can you drink chili? No. Okay.
Nicole, entertain them while I do this.
Josh has poured chili.
Not chewed once.
I'm
so sorry. I swallowed a bunch of beef and whole beans.
Ew,
just
Josh.
to make a point.
Yeah.
The point is I drank that chili, right? Eating and drinking is not a matter of
can I tell you
noun.
something? Did you drink that chili just to drink it to prove that you can do it? Or what about you take a...
Doesn't matter.
No.
What I am about, Nicole, is pushing the limits of what is and is not possible.
You're being
if I
ridiculous.
prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that one could... Oh, I'm covered in chili. If I prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that one could feasibly drink soup, right, then I think you throw the whole argument off. It's not about proving what is true. It's about proving one insane specific example of what could potentially hypothetically be false if you have a weird person who's willing to risk choking on a podcast to swallow chili whole.
Are you like a comfortable pill swallower?
Oh, my comfortable pill
God, you don't
swallower.
even need
No
water,
gag
huh?
reflex on this guy. No,
Honestly,
I well up a bunch of spit and I just swallow it.
That's one of my biggest flexes, that I don't need to drink water with pills.
It's actually harder with water because water is a terrible lubricant. It actually adds more friction.
Yeah.
And so I well up a bunch of spit.
Yeah, the spit helps it.
Is the OG lubricant, right? Like that's I mean, in the ancient world, what do you think they were? It was just spit and olive oil.
Hey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I think about the Roman Empire a lot. Yeah, we are now in the middle of the Twitter storm of women finding out that all men think about the Roman Empire constantly. And it's absolutely true. I think about the vomitoriums all the time, where they actually reference it in the Hunger Games. You know the scene of the Hunger Games when Katniss is in the Capitol for the first time, and she has this very big banquet, and there's a lot of food. She's like, I couldn't eat another cake. I'm stuffed. And then somebody's like, here, give you this pill. And she's like, it makes me hungry? She goes, no, it makes you sick, and then you can eat more. That's just a reference to the decadence of the Roman Empire. And so many people think that like the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, various barbarians, came in really were the downfall of it. But if you think about it, I mean, the cultural decadence, it's like, how much does that actually influence on a person-to-person policy level, combat to combat?
So with chicken noodle, that you clearly have to chew the chicken noodle soup. But if it was a chicken noodle soup that was just the broth, maybe a few carrots, onions that have really sweated down, you could drink that and it would be a delicious experience. But chicken noodle, the noodle's too thick, too wide. Egg noodle, impossible.
You want to see me swallow that noodle, Nicole? You want to see me do it?
I really don't want you to.
No chewing. I will drink this noodle.
Josh, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Gone. No chewing whatsoever. I don't see why this is difficult to understand.
Dude, that noodle is going to come out of your butt in the same exact shape and size.
I should be so lucky. Drinking and eating, Nicole, is merely a matter of the human spirit. No, if we get down to it, though, like, soup is a category. It's very culturally specific. We've sort of touched on this before. That's a good chicken noodle soup.
It's a delicious chicken.
We've touched on this before where, like, you'll go to some, say, like a Vietnamese restaurant or a Chinese restaurant, and they'll be like, this is the noodles portion. They're like, you can get this dry or wet. And then the soups portion is something that doesn't have noodles. So to me, certain soups are defined by their solids.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you fighting me about this? We're on the same page, buddy.
I'm saying that soup does not exist. Ergo, do you eat or drink soup? Which is a real question that was posed to us. Is a meaningless question, right?
No. See, now you're going too far off the deep
end. But no,
end.
can I be I would call myself like a true soup scum.
What's a true scoop? What?
True soup scum right here. I am like a scum of the earth who is a hardline thinker that there are only certain true soups in the world, and other soups should not be in that category.
Okay, what are the true soups?
Butternut squash right here. This is a true soup.
Why?
Right? Because it is smooth and drinkable. To me, soup necessarily, Nicole, needs to be something that is drinkable. Something like pho, or even chicken noodle, or kreplach, or what do they call it, mishmash soup?
Mishmash soup?
Mishmash, you go to a deli, you get mishmash.
Oh, you told me all this. I've never done that before.
It's like equal parts chicken noodle and...
kreplach?
Or something that's chicken noodle, kreplach, and kanedlach.
Oh, I don't do that.
A lot of achs in Ashki Jewish
I don't
food.
do that stuff. But I don't... But let me tell you, the fact that there's... Do you want a napkin? Can we get him a napkin? It's necessary.
For those of you only listening to this podcast, I have soiled myself and I need a nappy. Nicole, you're saying, I'm listening. I can be professional while I'm covered in chili. So you want to see the Alex Jones deposition?
I've never seen it.
Alex Jones is being deposed and it's just like...
Right now?
No, this is a couple years ago. It was when his wife was basically like, my ex-husband is very unhinged. He should not have any visitation rights to his children. And then Alex Jones's lawyer was like, no, you don't understand. This is merely a character, and he makes a lot of money and provides for his kids doing this. This is not the real Alex Jones. And then in a deposition with police, they go, Alex Jones, is this just a character or is this you? And you can see the wheels turning where he goes, if I say this is a character, the jig is up. I no longer have InfoWars. I cannot keep this up. People know the facade is gone. However, if I say that it is a character, I can actually get my kids back. And he takes off his shirt. And they go, sir, why did you take off your shirt in a legal deposition? And he goes, I ate a bunch of chili. And I need to take off my shirt when I eat chili. And so you see him like Leonardo DiCaprio in Shutter Island. Make the decision that he would rather die as a monster than live as a good man, I guess. Anyways... That's how I feel right now. You were saying?
Do you want to take your shirt off during this deposition? Please don't. Please don't. I've had enough.
Someone, Alexa, play Pony by Genuine.
Oh my God.
Nicole, Acapella Pony by Genuine.
I'm just a bachelor looking for a partner.
My back hurts too much.
Someone who knows how to ride without getting thrown off. Gotta be compatible.
I don't think I like butternut squash soup.
You know, Timbaland produced that, and he actually talked about how the wah, 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 wah was like, he had that beat for 10 years.
Really?
He gave it to Genuine.
That's incredible. I find it fascinating that Jump Around by House of Pain, you know? Yeah. Beat was originally written for Cypress Hill.
Well, that makes sense.
And then Cypress Hill was like, hey, for whatever reason, I can't rap to this beat. Give it to somebody else. And they gave it to House of Pain. The only hit
Irish,
they ever had.
The only Irish hip hop
The white
group.
Irish Bostonian equivalent of Cypress Hill.
That's right.
Yes. You were talking about soup.
Yeah, what was I saying about soup? I was like so into it.
Talking about pho.
Oh yeah. So you would consider the noodles, like you don't chew the noodles in pho?
Pho's not soup.
Pho's not soup. Pho's noodles.
Pho's not soup. Pho
okay.
Soup.
Ramen
right?
is
Like
not
soup.
soup.
Is a very American term. Like I don't believe
what
that
about
you
stews?
would.
Stews. Do you eat a stew?
Oh, you eat a stew. Let's not get carried away.
Stew.
You definitely eat
a
stew. But I would say if any Vietnamese person could weigh in on this, I don't know that you would even necessarily care about the term soup if you're in Vietnam. You would just say, I'm eating pho. Right? Sorry. But then if you have something like ba call, right? Like that's a stew, and that's like a
Hearty, like
a dish. Yeah,
there's-
yeah.
it's chewable.
It's almost like when we talk about curry, right?
yeah.
We're like, well, curry's all around the world.
Curry's not a
Thai
soup, is
curry.
it? Unless it's curry
No, I'm
soup.
just talking about like the etymology of it, where we take a word from our American English perspective and we try and force it on the rest of the world, because butternut squash soup and pho have so little in common, right? They have like less in common than like, I don't know, Starburst and a steak, I think.
Do you want to know what the definition of soup is?
Yeah.
A liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, or vegetables, etc. in stock
The definition
or
of
water.
soup is terrible.
Or
It's
a
terrible.
substance or mixture perceived to resemble soup in appearance and consistency. You can't use the word that you're defining in the definition.
No,
that's
but-
just bad.
but-
That's just bad.
No, I like that part of the definition, but I think that's a very myopic definition. Even using the term usually, right? Look up the definition of taco. This is what bothers me about dictionaries. Look up the definition of taco.
The Google definition?
I believe it's Merriam-Webster.
Okay.
Or what does that say on dictionary.com?
It's on Google. A Mexican dish consisting of a fried tortilla, typically folded, filled with various mixtures such as seasoned meat, beans, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Yeah, so it's typically a fried tortilla. That's flat out wrong. If you looked
Yeah.
at all the tacos served, it being fried and crispy is very atypical, especially when they reference Mexican food. The dictionary gets it
Merriam-Webster.
wrong very often.
What Merriam-Webster says, a crispy or soft corn or wheat tortilla that is folded or rolled and stuffed with a mixture.
That's not bad. That's better. What I'm saying, though, is butternut squash soup and pho have very little in common. Even chili, we've argued that chili is not a soup. It is actually a stew. Rather, I believe it to be a curry in that very nebulous term, right? I think there needs to be a separation between all these things. In fact, I would argue that on this table, we have a 3-bean chili, we have butternut squash soup, we have chicken noodle soup.
Sure.
These are 3 separate genuses.
No way.
This is a true soup.
Okay.
This is something that is drinkable. All true soups are drinkable. This is a noodle dish with
Oh my
broth.
gosh, you cannot-
This, no,
cannot
I have
do
the spirit spoon. I get to talk.
Okay, fine.
This is a stew or curry, which could be a subset of stew if you really want to raise stew to an umbrella term. These are 3 separate dishes. So if you're asking me, do you eat or drink soup? I would say yes. I drink this, which is the only true soup, as well as a smoothie.
So you only drink soup that is butternut squash soup.
Not butternut squash. Oh, tomato soup,
So anything
Nicole,
that's blended.
cream of
So you need- so anything that's
mushroom.
blended?
Blended or has reasonably small enough bits, a la cream of mushroom. Not every mushroom has to be blended in. Small enough bits to where you do not have to chew. Also, you ever okay, this is gross, but you ever throw up after, it could be a night of drinking, could just be whatever. Mm-hmm. And you realize how little you really chew your food?
Sure, I've
Just
been there.
whole slices of mushroom.
I've never seen whole slices of mushrooms in my vomit, but I don't eat mushrooms. so.
There was a pizza place that I used to go to a lot in college. Enzo's. Shout out to Enzo's. Put
Oh
just
my
a
gosh.
mountain of, you've been to Enzo's?
Oh my gosh, we used to go after every UCLA frat party.
No, everyone's like, you gotta go to La Monica's. They import
No,
their
no,
water.
no, nobody
you
cares
go to
about La Monica's.
Enzo's.
You go to Enzo's.
No, we gotta go to Enzo's. Enzo's the best pizza in Westwood. But, well, hold on.
Josh, how can you say chicken noodle soup is not a soup? Of course it's a soup.
I'm
What is
now
it,
amending my beliefs.
A noodle dish? That's so shady.
I've had a
noodles,
revelation.
The noodles aren't even the star of the dish. They're the second word.
I've had a revelation.
What?
Butternut squash soup is not soup.
A baby food?
All true soups are, in fact, smoothies.
Okay, elaborate.
Okay, so I said earlier that there's nothing separating this from my smoothie earlier. Literally, I mean, it's the same exact consistency, somewhat similar nutritiously even. You got starch, you got sugar. I'm sure there's some protein from the dairy in that soup. Mm-hmm. And I literally consume it in the same way. If you would eat this butternut squash soup with a spoon, you should also eat a smoothie with a spoon. You should just drink both of those. That made me think that, well, a savory dish would be a true soup and a sweet would be a smoothie. No. There's nothing really separating those at all.
That's fine, yeah.
This is a
yeah.
smoothie. And then, okay, let me amend my rankings of these soups.
But it's warm.
What?
You ever eat smoothies warm?
Yeah, it happens. You
Okay,
leave a smoothie
no,
sit.
I'm talking about intent, Josh. You're just using outliers and being like the fringe. Nobody cares about the fringe. The fact that you get to do these things as a fringe person doesn't mean that you have to be the all-encompassing authority on it.
Do you remember that time you made gazpacho, Nicole?
Yeah.
What was David's criticism of
He
it? David
wishes
Hill.
it was hot.
He wishes it was hot. Which one,
But
as
then
a
it's not a
judge?
gazpacho.
Then it's not a gazpacho, and a gazpacho is a Spanish what?
Soup?
Soup. right? But it's cold. You're arguing gazpacho is a smoothie. Either you have to agree, Nicole, that a gazpacho is a smoothie.
The
and that
gazpacho
this-
is the fringe, but that doesn't mean it needs to be all encompassing and everybody has to. Just
No.
because gazpacho feels a certain way doesn't mean everybody has to be the way gazpacho is. You can respect the fact that gazpacho is different.
You ever have like a chilled like cucumber and pear soup at like a nice fancy restaurant?
No.
You never had one of those? It's like,
A
ooh,
pear
champagne. You've never had a pear soup? Wait, is this just a thing for me? No,
Am I an aristocrat from the 1800s? What are you talking about?
It is like a really stupid old school dish, but it does
Ew.
exist. I've like,
No.
I think the first time I had it was like on a cruise when I was like 14.
This guy goes on cruises.
And it was, this is the poor people cruise. This is like the like $179, but like we got a coupon because we spent so much at like Kmart that they gave us a
nice.
discount for like $89.99, and it's like 3 days, and it kind of just goes around the harbor in LA.
Okay.
It'll go down somewhere in Mexico, but like you're in LA, you're literally 100 miles from
Ensenada?
Mexico.
Is it an
It was
Ensenada?
probably an Ensenada cruise.
Okay,
It was like 2 days.
instead of having a bar mitzvah, you know what my parents did? They took me on a cruise to Alaska for like a week.
And you didn't get the pear soup?
No, but I tried escargot when I was like 12.
I tried escargot on a cruise.
Yeah,
too.
we're
Why
so
are we-
similar.
Why are we
Oh,
eating snails on a
Joshy,
cruise?
that's so cute.
But can you at least empathize with what I'm saying?
No!
Why?
I don't need to empathize to get my point across.
What is similar between these three things? This has noodles. This is just a bunch of beans and stuff, and this is just literally a smoothie. Nicole,
They're bowls of liquids that may or may not
What's this
contain
then?
solid. That's chili. You put
that's
chili.
chili.
in
That's
it.
chili in a mug.
Which is fine. You can
Not
put
chewing. I'm drinking my chili.
but you're just doing that to do it, just to be cool.
No, I actually much prefer, and there's a scientific reason I would prefer drinking soups as opposed to eating them.
Okay, I disagree. I think you're just trying to I think you're just trying to be a weirdo for the sake of being a weirdo.
You never gotten soup in like okay, so
I never order soup at restaurants, really.
what the F? What about like you get like a Korean restaurant, you get like a lovely like sholongtong, like Korean oxbone soup.
Yeah.
It tastes so much better. One,
When you drink it like this.
the entire proud nation of Korea. What's up with the spoons, dude? Korean soup spoons. They're so
good, no?
shallow.
You like them or no?
No, I really
Well,
I
it's because they
struggle to
serve
eat
it
soup.
so damn hot.
They
You
do
can't
serve it so hot,
You can't.
which I do
If you
respect. But Korean soup spoons, they're very straight, they're very long.
I like them.
And they're very shallow.
Yeah.
And I struggle because I got I swallowed too much beef.
Yeah.
I drink too much ground beef, Nicole. But I vastly prefer drinking soups out of a little bowl. Miso soup is a great example.
I do as well. Can I ask you a question?
Wait, you said you do what? You do enjoy what?
Drinking out of a bowl.
Drinking what out of a bowl?
Miso.
You drink soup! Oh my God! Nicole got tricked again into agreeing.
No. Because Because in miso soup, all the things are literal and easy to drink.
So you are drinking this. You are drinking the true soup.
I told you can
The
drink
true
this
soup.
one. I told you can eat or drink the true soup.
Some chicken noodle soups could be as easy to drink as some miso soups.
Not always.
Some.
Okay, where have you found one? Find me the address.
I will. No, honestly, like deli chicken noodle soup. So ones that don't have the big, like, what are these noodles called? We just call them egg noodles. Yeah, but there's a shape to them. What's the shape?
Egg
Anyways,
noodle.
egg noodles, right? Some chicken noodle soups are made with like those little straight noodles. Those are infinitely drinkable. It's like drinking a tapeworm.
But what if it gets lodged in your throat?
What if the tofu gets lodged in your throat?
That never happens. That never
what if
happens. It's
the
silken
seaweed-
tofu.
What if the seaweed, it's not silken tofu, it's just soft. I'm sorry for yelling.
You chew the seaweed a little bit though, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I actually really like chewing
Okay,
the
so
seaweed. Yeah.
chewing the seaweed implies that you are eating and drinking. You eat and drink that soup. You eat and drink chili. You eat and drink chicken noodle. You drink pureed soup.
Schrodinger's soup.
I don't know what that
At
means.
any point, you're simultaneously eating and drinking soup. You take a bite of chicken noodle or sip it from a mug. The moment your teeth touch together, you have eaten. The moment they pull
right.
apart and water is sliding down your throat hole, you are drinking.
Yeah.
Every single time you open and close your mouth, you are simultaneously in a state of eating and drinking that we can only colloquialize as consumption.
Or swallowing.
Or swallowing. Get out there and swallow. You know, if you've never
Yeah.
done it, come on. Go out and eat some soup, swallow some hot
swallow.
dogs, drink some butternut squash bisque. What do you think the biggest takeaway is from this, Nicole?
That we both went on a cruise and had to start go when we were like 12 or 14.
Question categories. We think of all these as soups, but really ask yourself, what does chicken noodle and butternut squash have in common? What does pho and cream of asparagus have in common?
I hate when you do this NPR voice.
Nothing. I'm Ira Glass, and I am recording from a closet. Here's the interesting thing about baseball. Now, I've been fascinated with baseball for a very long time. See, the pitcher, he throws the ball, but does he really? Have you ever seen the pitcher with a ball? Have you ever let your imagination run wild? Maybe it's not a ball, Nicole. Maybe it's a butterfly.
Fall is finally here, and that means that soup season is upon us.
Oh, heck yeah, it is. There's no better feeling than when you're a little bit chilly and you eat, drink, or swallow some steaming hot soup to warm you up from the inside out.
In fact, the soup in this very episode is Zoop Soup, and they can be enjoyed any way you prefer to consume them. I absolutely love the brown butter notes in the butternut squash soup.
Oh, and the chili goes down easy in one gulp, which is a huge point in its favor.
As the founders of Zoop Eatery, the Zoop team served 2 million soups and broth bowls face-to-face to customers for over 20 years and discovered taste preferences that hold true across demographics and regions. They took these unique insights direct from soup lovers themselves and built a brand around good, really good broth and soup.
Nicole, if loving soup is wrong, I don't want to be right. Zoop's super premium heat and eat soups are available in 9 inspired recipes and offer something for everyone. Their homemade broths are simmered all day for that delicious flavor. Varieties include chicken, beef, veggie, seafood, and bone broths.
Zoop culinary concentrates are gourmet clean label broth bases that easily boost the taste of recipes and can be mixed with water to create delicious sipping broths. All Zoop products are packaged in recyclable and reusable glass jars and free of artificial ingredients, preservatives, and GMOs.
Zoop products are available at your favorite natural and mainstream retailers across the country and through Instacart, plus online at zoopbroth.com, walmart.com, and Amazon.
Use 20 hot dog to get 20% off your first purchase on Amazon. Browse recipes and learn more at zoopbroth.com or by following at Zoop Good Really Good on Facebook, Instagram, and Zoop Good Really Good Broth on Pinterest. Get as adventurous as you want in your kitchen with the Mythical Kitchen merch collection, available now at mythical.com.
Oh yeah, the collection features 2 aprons, teas, and oven mitts. Good for all methods of cooking. You got boiling, you got frying. Nicole, you got baking, you got braising, you got shallow braising, you got deep frying, you got shallow frying. All the cooking techniques you can do with the Mythical Kitchen merch bundle. Woohoo! Available now at mythical.com. Was that good, Maggie? No, I loved it. I think we should air all of this, too. Yeah. Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, my
God. All right, Nicole. We've heard what you and I have to say. Now it's time to find out what other wacky ideas are rattling out there on the internet. It's time for a segment we call
Opinions Are Like Casserole.
But before we get into that, we want to do our favorite segment, Reviewer Review.
Oh, yeah.
It's where we take one of your reviews from Apple Podcasts. Please go out there and review us and give us 5 stars. And today, Nicole, it is from Hi, I'm a Idoit, which is, I believe, an intentional misspelling of idiot. And they've given us 2 stars, saying, God, this show is mid. They find some decent topics, but they execute them poorly, and Nicole needs to listen instead of always talking. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. I want the people who created this and currently run it to take none of this as an offense, but advice to make the show improve. I want nothing but for podcasts I am not a fan of to improve. I would give this review 5 stars if I am rating it on a scale of how to be absolutely patronizing and using the guise of respectability politics to say something that is objectively hurtful and not actually constructive. People who go, I'm just giving constructive criticism. I want you to be better because you look like crap and you're a piece of crap. And I've said things that are objectively cruel. I would argue that Nicole does not speak for a majority of this podcast because I have a tendency to mansplain and steamroll. So what you've said, I would also just brand as misogynistic.
Sorry, I was listening. I give this review 3 stars.
Yeah, the review's kind of mid. Anyways, Maggie, roll that first opinion. Ow, fudge.
Hey, Josh and Nicole. I've been a fan of Mythical Kitchen for a while, but I'm a recent fan of a hot dog as a sandwich. So
Thank you.
I hope this is not a repeat suggestion, but I'm here to talk about Angostura bitters. You know,
Okay.
some cocktails, but they are so much more versatile than that. I mean, you know, you look at the bottle and it says You should put it in soups and salads and fish and ice cream and all these different things. And I'm here to say that they also work so well in French toast. I used them in my French toast this morning.
Yes.
It's the same thing as like putting vanilla in. It's a spice extract and alcohol, and it's nice and bitter, and it balances out whatever sweetness you're putting on your French toast. So good. Angostura goes in everything. Thank you.
That is a fascinating opinion, and if you want to hear Nicole and I talk about that and many more, go check out our audio-only versions over at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. To all the video viewers, we will see y'all next time. Check back. We got new episodes every Wednesday out on audio and then Sunday out on video.
Do I have to say something now?
Yeah, tell them about the hotline.
Okay, if you want to be featured on Opinions or like Casseroles, you can hit us up at 833-DOG-POD1. The number again is 833-DOG-POD1.
And we got more videos coming out in the Mythical Kitchen YouTube channel all the time until the day we die. We'll see y'all there.